celebrate Lefty Drizel's 500th victory, and certainly that man has to be disappointed as he leaves.
We're in a situation now where we're still ahead of the league, and if we want to have any chance of running for the league championship, we've got to do something about it tonight.
Somewhat subdued Lefty Drizel. We'll be right back after this from Budweiser.
This buzz for everyone in the spotlight before the show begins.
This buzz for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you.
Showtime,
Hey, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This buzz for you.
Sail with the pilot at the wheel on a ship that's sturdy from its mast to its keel. It guides through storm and wave, ensures you while you sail. Sail with the pilot all the way and get on board the pilot ship today.
How's Toyota going to break all truck sales records with this? A $500 cash rebate direct from the Toyota factory distributor on all new Toyota trucks, cargo vans, and conversion vans. $500 rebate on all Toyota pickup trucks. $500 rebate on cargo vans and conversion vans. And additional cash incentives from Toyota can mean even bigger savings. See your Toyota dealer, make your best deal, and on your way out, take this $500 cash rebate with you.
Slow down. Whoa. Roy Rogers has something new that you ought to know. Hot-topped potatoes.
Oven-baked and brimming with fresh broccoli and cheddar cheese sauce. Melted cheese topped with real bacon. Taco beef, cheese, and sour cream.
Hot-topped potatoes.
New from Roy Rogers. Fast food you'll want to eat slow.
Slow down.
This is ACC basketball with Clemson, Duke, Georgia Tech, Maryland, North Carolina, North Carolina State, Virginia, and Wake Forest. This live coverage is brought to you by Budweiser, by Piedmont Airlines, by Hardee's, by Jefferson Pilot, by Mazda, by Holly Farms, by Gillette. In North Carolina by NCNB National Bank. In South Carolina by South Carolina National Bank. And in Virginia by Central Fidelity Bank.
This is the Alexander Memorial Coliseum in Atlanta, Georgia, the home of the Tech Yellow Jackets, set to host the Maryland Terrapins. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick along with Billy Packer, and it's great to have you with us for ACC basketball tonight. It's another game that they're all talking about, Lefty Drizel winning his 500th game. I know Lefty's tired of hearing about it. We're tired of hearing about it. Has it become a distraction for that team, do you think?
It probably has, Mike. And one of the things the coach tries to do is get his team to play the best of their potential. Maryland has not been doing that, particularly the effort they gave in the Clemson game. So maybe this 500-win business is really affecting their ball club.
If you like statistics, take a look at the one that shows Bobby Crimmins is 7-2 against Maryland since he came into the ACC.
That really shocks me, Mike, when you consider what Bobby started out with. And Lefty's had some really fine teams during that period of time. Sometimes you find a coach that can get an edge on another coach, and there's no apparent reason for it. But, of course, Bobby Crimmins has done an excellent job molding this club, and Lefty has year after year put out an outstanding team himself.
Now, coming into this game, neither team is coming off an outstanding performance.
That's for sure. I haven't really been able to figure out Georgia Tech. You know, they've lost to some bottom echelon teams and have done so well against the top teams. Virginia is really improving, as everybody knows, but I didn't expect them to go up there and not come away with a victory. In the case of Maryland, I already mentioned at Clemson, they did not play well. Clemson, another team that's rapidly improving.
course,
Part of the show where the heat is on, and that's what's true. You're trying to get your team to peak and get ready for the ACC tournament, and then beyond that in the postseason play nationally. And this is something that both of these coaches have some pressure on. They've got to get their teams peaking upward.
well, Tech still at 7-4, still number 1, but there you see the other 4 pretenders to it. Maryland could drop out with a loss tonight.
Well, Vic Bubas is the first guy I ever heard said it, that someday the ACC will have all teams at 7-7. That's the way the season will end. And you can see that in my years of covering the games, I've never seen anything like this in regard to a conference race from top to bottom.
All right, we'll see what happens tonight for the starting lineups for tonight's game. Let's go to public address announcer John Culver.
From the Alexander Memorial Coliseum, where tonight the Maryland Terrapins take on the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. Here are tonight's starting lineups. For Maryland, at forward, a 6'8" junior from Landover, Maryland, number 31, Lynn Bias. For Georgia Tech, at forward, a 7-foot junior from Brooklyn, New York, number 22, John Saleh. For Maryland, at forward, a 6'7" freshman from Temple Hills, Maryland, number 33, Derek Lewis. For Georgia Tech, at forward, a 6'6" freshman from Towson, Maryland, number 33, Dwayne Farrell. For Maryland at center, a 6'8" sophomore from Glen Allen, Virginia, number 32, Terry Long. For Georgia Tech at center, a 6'11" senior from Cap Haitian, Haiti, number 54, Yvonne Joseph. For Maryland at guard, a 6'5" sophomore from Grimesland, North Carolina, number 3, Keith Gatlin. For Georgia Tech at guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Manhattan, New York, number 45, Bruce Darabont. For Maryland at guard, a 6'8" senior from Largo, Maryland, number 24, Adrian Branch. And for Georgia Tech at guard, a 6-foot junior from Enid, Oklahoma, number 25, Mark Price. Head coach for Maryland is Lefty Drizel. Head coach for Georgia Tech, Bobby Crimmins.
Here are the officials for tonight's game. Maryland against Georgia Tech. It will be Hank Nichols, Jim Birch, and Pete Pavia. We will be back with the start of tonight's game right after this.
And up there.
Traditionally, Maryland has been an excellent rebounding team, but this year they have been out-rebounded. Mark Price with the ball for Georgia Tech in those shiny gold uniforms with the blue trim.
And a little box and one right off the bat. Mark Price being handled by Gatlin. Box and one. Maryland playing 4 guys in the zone and Gatlin chasing Price.
It's exactly what Virginia was able to do twice to Price this year with great success. Nobody else took up the slack.
I'll tell you what makes this tough defense with the Maryland lineup is they have such good overall team size in other positions.
Joseph with the miss, got his own rebound, comes out with a loose ball, and then he turned it over. No, they didn't call it.
Joseph was recruited by Lefty Drizel. Almost thought about going there. And it looks like he likes to play against Lefty.
If he had not come to Georgia Tech, he would have come to Maryland. They've given Lefty that big center that he could really use now. This is Price to Farrell. Baseline drive against the zone. Blocked. And that was Derek Lewis.
What a great block.
Lewis has blocked 78 shots so far this year. He's only 6'7", 195 pounds. Say only because he's playing center.
Here he goes, straight man-to-man on the part of Georgia Tech. Match up to watch Dalrymple on Branch, who's really been having his problems lately. Let's see if Dalrymple keeps him in the doldrums or if Branch breaks out.
And Dalrymple is a tough defensive player. This is Gatlin, who had a great game against Clemson.
Incredible game. 14 out of 15 shooting, a flawless floor game. If you get that out of your point guard, you don't expect to lose.
This is Bias. Shot clock is down to 5 seconds. Nobody realizes it yet. Gatlin working on Price. Leans into one, tried to draw the foul, had to take the shot. Long has the loose ball, and it comes out to Price. Tech likes to run. Price toward the middle, down the lane. Nice dish off. Farrell, blocked by Bias. Foul on Bias.
Good job by Mark Price to keep himself in balance coming down the court. Gatlin's going to reach in. Price changes hands, goes by him, protects the ball with his body. Very good pass, and Farrell goes in for the second time today to try to get a stuff. That one is fouled by Bias coming over the backside.
Maryland has worked a variety of defenses against Georgia Tech this year. Earlier in the season at Hawaii, Mark Price scored the winning basket on a layup against a man-to-man defense at the end of the game. Came back to the second game, and they switched to a zone near the end of the game to keep doing just that. Now they're playing the box and one, and the free throw makes it 1-0 Georgia Tech.
Okay, you got straight man-to-man. Price on Gatlin. Dalrymple over there on Grant. Sally gets caught in the switch, and he's over on Bias.
This is Lewis in the middle over Farrell. Won't go. Rebound Joseph.
You can see Georgia Tech wants to run. Really pushing the ball down court rapidly.
Great ball moving inside to Sally. Double pump. Won't go. Farrell offensive rebound. Farrell makes it 3-0. And if this is Maryland's biggest, strongest rebounding lineup, so far they're getting killed.
So they are inside, and you've got terrific size in the front of Georgia Tech. Plus, you've got Dalrymple, who's a great rebounding crasher from the outside.
Loose ball picked up by Long.
Smart move by Long not to take that jump shot on Sally. Sally was poised for the block.
Bias with that pure jump shot comes up short on this one. Price through traffic. It's a 2-on-1. Gatlin in the middle. This is Farrell.
Smart play by Farrell, even though he missed the shot. He used the rim to protect the ball. That's a good fast break. Gatlin did a nice job there because I didn't think that he realized Farrell was on his backside. Yvonne Joseph on Bias. That's some matchup.
Bias will work just as hard as he possibly can. Joseph is a load to try to push around if he gets him low in the blocks.
I'm surprised Farrell is coming that far out to play Lewis. Lewis not known to shoot beyond 12, 15 feet.
Shot clock now down to 7 seconds. Bias got Joseph off his feet, drives by him, missed the shot, but here's the whistle. Offensive foul, Leonard Bias. That is 2 on Len Bias in the first 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes.
See, Bias makes a great move to get by Yvonne Joseph. Really a quick move right here. By him, and he goes up in the air. Farrell's waiting for him on the weak side. Good call.
3-0 Georgia Tech, 16:25 to go first half. Tech has beaten Maryland twice this year. That 72-60 score, the biggest margin of defeat Maryland has suffered all season long. Joseph with a miss.
That's the shot that'll be open against his defense. You've got 3 guys playing along the back line, Adrian Branch on the foul line, and Gatlin chasing man-to-man.
We hit the 16-minute mark. Maryland still looking for its first points. Bias trying to go one-on-one with Joseph.
Ron Joseph's an excellent athlete for a man his size. Just hasn't played that much basketball.
Branch on Dalrymple, and Branch gave it up, goes to Bias. Maryland being very, very patient. Now Branch reach in by Dalrymple, knocked it out of bounds. The foul will be on Dalrymple, his first. And we have a timeout. 15 minutes, 48 seconds to go. First half of play in Atlanta. It's Georgia Tech 3, Maryland 0.
Introducing 3 all-new 1986 Mazda B2000 trucks. Trucks so advanced the words that describe them best may never have been used to describe any truck. Words like roomy, quiet, responsive, aerodynamic.
Bryce, 2 years ago, the Rookie of the Year in this league. His teammate Bruce Dalrymple a year ago. Billy, you could take those 5 guys and start your own franchise.
You really would. Ralph at center, Sam and Michael at the forwards, and Price and Dalrymple at the guards, and I think you do fairly well.
Not half bad.
And we may be looking at next year's, and Dwayne Farrell is on the court right now for Georgia Tech.
Bias down the lane. Maryland still hasn't scored. Now they have.
That's a smart move by Lenny Bias, setting up right at the top of the key. And that gives him the whole court to work with against Yvonne Joseph, and he uses quickness against Joseph's power.
Dalrymple gets it to Sally to Price, who ran around a screen. Good shot from that range, even on the run. But Sally has the offensive rebound. Follow won't go.
Ron Sally hurt himself. He actually jammed his body into the side of the backboard. I think he's all right, but he really did go into that backboard.
Bias again down the lane, went up.
Now,
let's take a look, see if we can see it.
Sally's holding it. You'll see him right here. Price puts the shot up. Sally going to get the rebound. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to go ahead and dunk this or not. Now watch him go up. He's going to jam his body. No, I thought he went into the backboard. He actually hit Derek Lewis's elbow. He is really hurting though. He's still got a lot of pain on his face.
Down to 15 minutes. Non-shooting foul was what stopped play. It's 3-2 Georgia Tech, and what has been a really slow start.
Georgia Tech in a little zone right now. 1-2-2.
Bias Yes, it's a one-man offensive show.
Count it. Boy, he has that down to a science.
Well, we watched him shooting at practice, and he's just scary. He stays up there forever.
That made a couple actually going out of bounds.
That's right. 4-3, Maryland with its first lead. 14:32 to go first half. This is a big, big game for both clubs, especially for Maryland, because they have 5 losses. This is Price.
Now, there was a case where Gatlin got caught around behind the screen. He really ought to be coming over the top of that pass because there's no place that Price can go since Gatlin knows he's got all 4 of his teammates back there to help out.
First 2-point for Price. There's a great play. Somebody hit the backboard, and the ball, that might have been a technical foul.
I think John Sally made a good block there, Mike.
This is Joseph. Another offensive rebound for Ferrell.
You can see that Maryland's getting all 4 players rebounding-wise under the basket so deep that they're losing all those little perimeter rebounds. Nobody blocking out. Of course, that's a very difficult defense to get any block out.
7-4, Georgia Tech. Gatlin looked inside for Long. Long, Lewis, and Bias starting up front tonight. Branch and Gatlin in the backcourt. Gatlin. Maryland being extremely patient tonight. They worked the shot clock down to 5 a couple of different times. Once it cost them. Shot clock is at 8 seconds. They throw it in the backcourt. This is going to be a backcourt violation.
And Mike, one of the things that you really have to worry about if you're going to go ahead and use that 45-second clock, you really got to start thinking about going into your offensive set about 16 seconds, because if you let it get down inside 10, all of a sudden you start taking bad percentage shots. I mean, it's almost like a delay game at the end of the game where you don't worry about scoring. And at this time in the game, obviously, you've got to put some points on the board.
Speedy Jones has checked in for Maryland for the first time, the junior college transfer from Allegheny.
There's that very unusual defense again. Georgia Tech will find shots right at the foul line extended.
This is Price. Got by Gatlin this time. Banked it. What a shot. Gee whiz, that's 4 for Price.
Remember in the beginning of the year how Mark Price just couldn't get that positive jump shot. Looked a little tired in the legs, but boy, he's got it going now.
It is 9-4 Georgia Tech. Try to get the ball to Branch. Finally got it after a loose ball, and that's a tough shot for Branch, and he carried it. One of the great streak shooters you'll ever see.
That's a great shot because he had Dalrymple trying to go for the steal, and Joseph jumping out in front of him.
Branch, the 3rd all-time scorer for Maryland. Bias number 11 already.
Oh, does he want to play?
Joseph did not get the shot down after a great move.
Bobby Crimmins, Joseph's the kind of guy, when you're sitting on that bench as a coach, you want him to make a basket, to relax him a little bit. So far tonight, he hasn't been able to get one.
Bias to Jones and back to Bias. Partially blocked, and the foul on Sally.
Well, you just looked at 2 of the best players in this conference going head-to-head against each other on a jump shot. Bias can go up to, I don't have any idea how high he can really jump. Sally goes with him. Now, here's that Joseph's making that move inside. Doesn't get the shot, but an excellent power move.
And at the line goes Glenn Bias, hitting 77%. Scored in double figures 44 straight games. He's really become a marked man. This is Antoine Ford into the ballgame for Bobby Crimmins. And Devon Joseph will get a breather. Ford has really come on and been able to give him some quality minutes.
Now, Bobby Crimmins, one of those coaches able to recruit guys that grow. Ford, another one. Good move by Price.
Jeff Adkins in the ballgame for Maryland, the man chasing Price is number 10.
Now, it looks like Lefty going to just keep alternating people, and there's Ford coming over the back. What Lefty's going to do is alternate people on Price, just trying to wear him on down.
Great ball movement on that last sequence from Georgia Tech. A couple little touch passes in there. The foul was on Ford. That'll stop the clock with 11:49 to go in the game. Very low scoring contest. Georgia Tech 9, Maryland 7. A look at the Maryland bench, and Adrian Branch coming off after talking with the coaching staff. He is not doing that well in the scoring department in the last 4 games, especially against Clemson.
He really had a bad game against Clemson. The effort wasn't there, and when you don't have effort in this league, you're in real serious trouble. Adrian, as you pointed out, Mike's a very explosive scorer, a streak-type player, and he came out tonight in warm-ups looking like he really wanted to play, so we'll see how it goes. He's up against a great defender, though, in Dalrymple.
Georgia Tech has already had twice as many shots as Maryland, 14 18-7, and that's because they have been killing them on the boards. Branch and Adkins.
Tough man-to-man defense.
This is Derek Lewis. Georgia Tech played with such intensity. Here's the alley-oop to Bias.
Oh, what a catch.
Got the shot up, but Antoine Ford may have gotten a piece of it. Dalrymple's down with a rebound.
You've got some real leapers in this game. Everybody playing up above the rim.
Antoine Ford cross-court to Dalrymple.
That's the shot that's open. Right there. Dalrymple's got to take that shot.
This is Farrell in the lane. Short on the jumper. Ford offensive rebound. Really threw that one up. Dalrymple.
How about that? He pinned that right down on his feet.
He's averaging 6.5 rebounds a game.
Still in that defense. Very unusual box and one type. I mean, they're not really playing a box, they're playing three along the back.
Farrell had it blocked by Branch. Another block inside by Lewis. That's 2 for him.
I haven't seen this many good blocks in a basketball game in a long, long time. I mean, we've got everybody hustling up above that rim.
Well, you've got, I guess, the 2 premier shot blockers in the conference right now with Sally and Lewis.
That's right. But everybody else seems to have their hands up there tonight also.
Georgia Tech, 13 rebounds. Maryland, only 6. This is Adkins, the Lynn Bias. 9-7 Tech. Branch making those one-on-one moves that he does so well, and Adrian Branch is at 2 straight.
Lefty has got to like the intensity of his ball club tonight compared to what they did down at Clemson. Again, not taking anything away from Clemson, but as a coach, you want your team to give you all-out effort. Some nights the baskets don't go in, but the effort should always be there.
This is Price.
Left-handed.
Left-handed. He was practicing that in warm-ups.
Good rebound by Lewis. That's not the shot Bobby Crimmins wants out of Mark Price. He'd like him to use him in practice. 6:30 this evening.
This is Adkins with Price on him. Keith Gatlin, the point guard, not in the ballgame right now. This is Branch. Dalrymple with him. Inside to Speedy Jones, and Farrell went down, slipped.
Speedy Jones is an excellent jump shooter also. Now, if Maryland can just shore themselves up on the boards, they can play with anybody.
Maryland has the lead, 11-9. 9 minutes, 18 seconds to go first half. Almost a steal by Branch. Now he does get the ball, and Dalrymple gets it back to Price. Look out.
Shot.
Branch influenced that shot.
Mark Price is fortunate. This is a jam.
Bias.
Some player, I think.
He's just pretty to watch. He already has 7 points, the leading scorer in the conference, and he has Maryland up by 4.
Georgia Tech has yet to figure out where the jump shots are. They're going to find her at the foul line extended. They've got to get somebody there and take a couple and then crash the boards.
There's a whistle and a foul underneath, and Jeff Adkins really hot about the call. I've never seen Adkins show that much temper on a court. That's his first. Billy, 2 games earlier this year, Virginia played that same defense, and Georgia Tech was never, even though they won one of the games, never solved it the entire game.
They really didn't. We had that Virginia game down here. Mark Price gets a little bit nervous and wants to put a shot up. They just have to be patient.
Terry Long comes into the ball game for Maryland.
Martinson in also for Georgia Tech. Bobby Crimmins realizing Mark Price getting a little edgy. Putting Martinson in to get a little ball handling, a little team continuity. Let's see what Lefty does defensively now with Price out of the game. They're going to play Dalrymple with the one-man.
And Adkins is the one-man. This is Scott Petway, and he walked.
Again, Georgia Tech not looking for the jump shot that's there.
Adkins running the ball club for Maryland. Started by Martinson, the freshman who was getting more and more minutes for Bobby Crimmins. This is what he needs is a guard to come off that bench. Lewis down the lane. What a block by Sally.
John Sally, and he's pointing out to the coach, he really could have caught that ball. He was up so high and his timing was so perfect, he could have caught the ball right and cupped it.
Oh. Branch leads in. Sally stuffs another one. Branch with a rebound. He is something to watch.
This is quite a show.
Got some great athletes out here. Dalrymple on Branch.
Well, you win with defense, and both of these teams are playing hard tonight.
This is Bias, guarded by Petway. Tough matchup for Petway. Anybody really shot and missed. Branch had his hands on a rebound. and then he hit the floor and rolled over, and they didn't call him for a travel until he rolled over.
Well, the key there is if you're standing and you have possession of the ball and you fall down, it's automatically a walk. Good call.
Timeout with 7:49 to go first half as we watch John Sally. It's Maryland by 4. On top with 7:49 to go first half. The announcers for this telecast are approved and selected by Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, duplication, or reception without the written permission of Raycom Sports, Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions is prohibited. How many shots have we had blocked so far in this one? At least a half a dozen.
You can see nobody's shooting very well. Georgia Tech 4 for 19. But now Maryland's starting to pick back up on rebounding. They were really out-rebounded early.
I think they got about 4 in one possession, so that really doesn't tell the story it ought to.
The story that I see out here compared to Sunday's game is the intensity level of the Maryland players.
Sally intercepts the bounce pass by Tom Jones to Dalrymple. Price is back in. Dalrymple can sure do a lot more as an overall player than when he first came here. Joseph inside scores, and he's fouled by Lewis.
And Bobby Crimmins gives a big sigh of relief. Excellent bounce pass by Dalrymple. Javon Joseph holds his man off, who happened to be Speedy Jones on that one. Does a good job getting the bounce pass, making the catch before he goes up for the shot.
Remember, stay tuned at the end of the game. We'll be picking the Holly Farms player of the game from each school. A lot of guys out there who have won them before. Joseph would love to play Maryland every night with those stats.
Lewis had it. The lefty gives it a doggone.
Wife Joyce is here. The chancellor of the university is here tonight. Love to see him win the 500. That's why they came. Price around the screen. Nice pass to Joseph. He tried to get it to Dalrymple. A little tough to catch.
Yeah, that was really not a good pass. A big man catches the ball inside. He ought to handle it all with 2 hands, unless his name's Bill Walton or something, you know. Catch that ball with 2 hands and drop it off.
7 minutes, 3 seconds left. Hard to believe that the score is only 13-11. Both of these teams can light it up, but they're playing some kind of defense right now. Bias and Branch exchanging it outside. Adkins wants the ball back.
This is tournament intensity right here. I think the start of tonight's show was so interesting. The heat is on. You can just tell these players are feeling it.
Branch to Adkins. Inside to Bias. Double team. Turnaround jumper. Got it. Len Bias. 9 points out of Maryland's 15. Oh, what a tough pass. Lewis blocked the first one. Couldn't get the second one. I think Scott Petway had to catch that pass. It would have stuck to him if he'd have missed it.
That Derek Lewis is as good a defensive player for his size as I've seen. So quick off his feet, always in position.
Adkins. Out of Bias. It's 15-13. Maryland by 2. Branch. Oh, just nicked the front of the rim. Tipped out of bounds, and it's out to Tech.
Adrian Branch felt that he could go by Yvonne Joseph, but Dalrymple did a good job coming over to help out on that play.
Price calling out the play for Bobby Crimmins. This is the 3rd time these teams have played. What a screen Joseph set. Sally. Oh, what a jam. Holy cow.
And Len Bias just put his head down and covered. That was excellent ball movement by Georgia Tech. They're starting to catch on.
They got Derek Lewis in the air that time. He sailed by Sally.
Whenever you run a trick defense like Maryland's doing, once a team figures out what's going on and where the openings are, it's really difficult to stop it.
Branch inside to Lewis, moving on Joseph. Back to Branch, lost it. Still loose. Dalrymple just all over the place, hustling after. Adkins. No Joseph, another rebound.
He just loves to play against Maryland.
Well, he sure does. Scott Petway, a senior on a very young ball club still. Joseph wants it.
He was
Rebounded
walking on
Jones.
that play,
I thought
but
so.
again, the effort is really there, and Lefty's calling for the walk.
Mr. Brazil may have been right on that one.
Yeah, I think he was.
We're tied at 15 with 4:39 to go first half. Bias has been the story for Maryland. He has 9 so far.
And Petway, hard these guys are playing because he's in great condition.
This is the third time these teams have faced each other this year. Billy, if they would play again in the ACC tournament, that would be 4. That was Petway with a miss. Joseph rebound. And a jump ball situation.
It'll be Maryland's ball.
And they could end up playing each other a 5th time if they should happen to meet in the NCAA. How'd you like to play anybody as tough as either one of these teams 5 times?
That's right, almost like NBA. Joseph's with a little push-off, and Derek Lewis ties him up.
An alternating possession rule gives the ball to Maryland, still tied at 15 points. These teams scored 15 points apiece in 16 minutes.
This is the most intense game that I've seen this year. And the defensive pressure that people are putting on in the effort is really there.
Jones, nice pass to Bias and a pretty move, and the shot would go for it. Another rebound is Sally ahead to Price. Dalrymple open momentarily. Price didn't see him. Back out to Joseph. Here's Branch. Got Petway to beat. Watch this. And he's fouled by Petway. I don't think the basket will count, and it won't. Good foul by Petway. Got him before he started up.
It was good play by Adrian Branch, too. Hustling, knowing a man's there. You see the concentration by Adrian. He knows the defender's coming. He hangs right on. There was the foul. Obviously not a basket.
Timeout with 3:27 to go in the half. We're still deadlocked at 15 from Atlanta. We'll be back after this word from Budweiser. Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at the University of Maryland. We'll have our One for the Books feature, an earlier game between these clubs in the ACC tournament, and we'll take a look at the shot board. That's all coming up at halftime, so stay with us, and we only have 3:27 to go in the first half, tied at 15.
Rebounds. Georgia Tech starting to pick up that advantage again.
Speedy Jones and Adkins, along with Branch, Long, and Bias for Maryland. For Georgia Tech, it's Price, Dalrymple, Sally, Farrell, and Joseph, the starters back in. Adkins to Speedy Jones.
Adkins to mix up in the signals there. Almost to the point that I thought that Atkins was going to the wrong basket.
It's 4 for Tom Jones, who was a transfer from Allegheny Community College out of Oak Hill, West Virginia. Maryland by 2. This is Dalrymple, left all alone as Farrell, and will take the shot. Price will.
Farrell's got to take that jump shot.
Sally, what a pass to Farrell. He'll take that shot, and he is fouled by Tom Jones.
Farrell is so tough down on the baseline.
It's going to be a tough choice this year for who gets the Rookie of the Year award.
This is some pass by Sally. He realized Farrell was there and then figured out a way to get it in. Jones does a good job staying inside, commits the foul coming down on the arm.
Farrell 1 out of 2, now 1 out of 3.
Farrell not a good free throw shooter. Been to the line a little over 80 times this year and shooting 57%. He
Line drive, that one.
Well, he actually got faked out by the guys going in the lane. He actually should have got another shot on that one.
Georgia Tech, as good a ball club as it is shooting a mere 67.8 from the free throw line, and that could hurt them. Jones to Adkins, but it's knocked away by Price. Jones got it back. Double teamed again. Adkins to Long. Adrian Branch going to lose it, and they'll call Price for the foul.
Mark Price reaching in. Got to give him A for effort. They did commit the foul on the arm. Just nothing easy tonight. Adrian Branch starting to trip. Price gets it one time, then reaches in there and picks up the foul.
Branch will go to the free throw. No, I'm sorry. He will not go to the free throw line. That was only the 15 foul.
Now
Adkins left all alone.
Lefty playing with 2 guards now. He has a very small team out on the floor.
As Gatlin is back in. This is Dalrymple. It's 17-15, Maryland by 2 with 2:04. And no one is stalling. We still have the shot clock. Dalrymple can't save it.
Looking with this lineup that Lefty has on the floor, look for Georgia Tech to go inside now. They've got a much bigger lineup on the court. I'd expect them to get some offensive rebounds.
Got Speedy Jones at 6'6" and a forward. Georgia Tech has turned the ball over 6 times here in the first half. We're down to 147, Maryland by 2.
Bias won that ball. He's got Farrell on him.
Adkins gets Bias top of the circle. Got it. 11 points for Len Bias. 19-15, Maryland by 4.
Defense really has Georgia Tech confused.
Farrell left alone. Dalrymple. Tech passing, still passing up those shots, Bill.
Passing up to 12, 15 footer. He's got to take it.
Farrell to Dalrymple inside. Double clutch. Won't go. Adkins rebound. Gatlin wants the ball out there, and now they'll get it to him. Down to a minute to go. Gatlin tried to get it underneath. Great steal by Sally to Price. What a play that was. Price pulls up. Yes, sir. Well, you see that coming, couldn't you? That's 6 for Mark Price. Might as well go, like you were saying earlier, go stand on that spot because this screw's going to pull up and shoot. 19-17, 38 seconds to go. 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Lefty wants last shot here.
Bias, he could have gotten a layup, and he's fouled at the baseline. That is only the 16th foul against Georgia Tech, so it would be a non-shooting foul. It's on Farrell.
And we've got 27 seconds, and this will be another full, are they going to call that a... That's not 1-and-1 yet. That wasn't a shooting foul. Lenny Bias went to the foul line. Next foul will be a 1-and-1 situation.
Scott Petway comes in for Georgia Tech. Farrell comes out. Adrian Branch will check back in for Maryland, and Terry Long will come in.
As tight as this game is, Mike, I would think that Maryland would hold it down for the last shot. Take a chance that last 2 seconds Georgia Tech can't do something with it, unless you get an absolute layup. Don't want to give them another possession.
Adkins with the ball. Maryland, the shot clock now being off. It was reset after the foul. Maryland can take the last one. Adkins is holding it outside. There's a double stack they like to run. 10 seconds.
Adrian Branch, the guy they like to have the hands with the ball. He's got it.
Adkins, baseline. Won't go for him. Joseph rebound. 1 second left. Price doesn't get it off in time.
That was good execution by Maryland. Go ahead and get that last shot.
An unusually low halftime score. Maryland 19, Georgia Tech 17. I'm sure if anybody's tuning in right now, they're saying, geez, these guys must be playing terrible, but they're not. It's been a good ball game.
I'd agree, Mike. The intensity level was there from the outset of this game. Whenever you play good aggressive defenses, both of these teams have. Georgia Tech in their man-to-man and Maryland in their, oddball Chinese-type defense. You get a great basketball game if you appreciate good defense.
Does this low score of 19-17, do you think this favors either team? Georgia Tech does not have a great bench, but then Maryland doesn't like to run that much.
Well, one of the things that it hurts Georgia Tech in 2 ways. One, they won't get a chance to use their bench, and they won't need to, but they'll be tired. And when you play this hard defensively, you don't have a chance to rest very much. It's not like we're seeing a delay game out there. So I think it hurts Georgia Tech in 2 ways. One, they'll be tired. Their front guys will be tired. And 2, they'd be better off in a transition game against the Maryland.
Mark Price is facing these kind of defenses more and more, even though his scoring average is only around 16 points a game. It's really a tribute to Mark Price.
Well, it is, but one of the reasons that he's seeing these kind of defenses is that his teammates are reluctant to take the shot that the oddball defenses are giving them. And when you see what we had with Virginia down here playing at box and one, the shots, the short jumpers are available. If Georgia Tech's not going to take those jumpers, then opposing coaches are going to say, hey, we're successful in that kind of a defense.
Well, it's 19-17 at halftime. Stay with us. We'll take a look at all these things and more coming up right after this.
Introducing 3 all-new 1986 Mazda B2000 trucks. Trucks so advanced the words that describe them best may never have been used to describe any truck. Words like roomy, quiet, responsive, aerodynamic, good handling, smooth riding, and the words great value also apply to the SE5, the LX, and the B2000 Experience. The 1986 line of Mazda trucks. Experience it.
She's here. We'll be right down.
There's a new major airline in America.
Maryland over Georgia Tech, 19-17. The leading scorers, Bias and Price with 11 and 6. Right now, we want you to take a look at the University of Maryland at College Park.
Ancient Greeks described education as a sound mind in a sound body. At the University of Maryland, the body and mind are brought together with a new sophistication as some remarkable teachers apply new technologies to the study of how we use our body. Faculty in the College of Physical Education, Health and Recreation use computers to chart the movement of a diver's jump and the form of a place kicker. By charting and recording muscle use in these activities, scientists can help athletes improve their performance. Such research also helps us understand more fully the human body and provides a base on which health sciences can better serve the needs of all of us. Similar techniques developed at the University of Maryland are now being applied to a wider range of human needs, from the doctor's office to the concert hall, easing the recovery of strained limbs or improving the breathing muscles of singers and musicians. Maryland is in the forefront of such efforts because some remarkable people at the university have taken the wisdom of the past and added it to the science of today. Maryland, our business is knowledge.
We're at halftime at Alexander Memorial Coliseum in Atlanta, Georgia, where Maryland leads Georgia Tech 19-17. Stay tuned as halftime continues after this word from your local ACC station.
It was back in 1980. You people can remember Georgia Tech really having a hard time that particular year. The University of Maryland having one of their great regular seasons. Buck Williams, Albert King, Ernie Graham, a super team for Maryland. Not much for Georgia Tech. They met in the opening round of the ACC tournament that year, and who will ever forget the game that Brooks Steppe had? That's the story in tonight's One for the Book.
Today on One for the Books, we go back to February 28, 1980. It's the first round of the ACC tournament. And inside the Greensboro Coliseum, Georgia Tech is on the verge of a first-round upset behind junior guard Brooks Steppe. Tech entered the field as the 8th seed, winning only one regular season game. But the Jackets were determined to make their first visit to an ACC tournament a memorable one. Maryland appears to have clinched the win when Buck Williams connects, giving the Terps a 2-point lead in the last minute of regulation. It's last shot time for Tech. It goes to Steppe, and he hits at the buzzer. This one goes into overtime, tied at 43 apiece. Lefty Driesell tries to get his team up, and Albert King listens. He scores 4 in the overtime, 16 points for the game, and Maryland leads by 2 with just seconds to go. Steppe tries again for another tying shot. But this one won't go, and time runs out on Tech's upset bid. Maryland escapes with a 2-point overtime win. Today's One for the Books.
1917. Mike will bring you back in here at halftime. I'll never forget that ball game. A tremendous job by Brooks Steppe. Couldn't hit that last shot. Georgia Tech almost tapped it in. And what happened? It was 2 years later before Georgia Tech could ever get their first win in an ACC tournament. Against who? Maryland, of course.
Brooks Steppe was such a great player, and he didn't have a lot of help in those days, and now Georgia Tech's loaded with talent, although Bobby Crimmins will still not admit they're there.
You know, I remember doing a game in this very gymnasium that particular year. Might have been the last game of the regular season for Georgia Tech against Wake Forest, and I believe they had about 300 or 400 paid in total attendance. About 200 of those were Wake Forest fans. So a tremendous accomplishment by Georgia Tech and Bobby Crimmins to what they've got in basketball now.
Another interesting thing they did too, I guess it was last year, Billy, they sold out the Omni for the North Carolina game, and they said, now we've arrived. When we can sell out the Omni for college basketball in Atlanta, we've made it.
Well, I think what we're going to see here in another couple of years is Georgia Tech playing most of their games in the Omni. This place will never hold if they keep playing this kind of basketball.
Of course, there were a lot of people that I really don't think believe Bobby Crimmins could do what he has done at this school. He didn't rebuild a program. He took a program that virtually did not exist and has raised it to a level where he's in the top 10 contender for the ACC championship. Now, for some people, that's hard to believe.
Well, it really is, but I always felt that Georgia Tech, once they joined the Atlantic Coast Conference, because of the natural recruiting territory in this area, plus the national reputation that it has, all they needed was a little motivation, and Bobby's the kind of guy that can really provide that.
a strange year in college basketball. I don't think I have ever seen the Atlantic Coast Conference like this, everybody with 4 or 5 losses. But that seems to be everywhere, too.
It really does, Mike. You look at the SEC. I think a couple of days ago I heard they were really complaining nobody's in the top 20. But if you look down that league, you don't know who to put there. There are so many teams that are competitive. The Big Ten, the same situation, and all over the Big East has 2 teams up at the top. They've got a couple of clubs also that will battle for NCAA position.
Well, it makes every game fun to do, doesn't it?
It really does.
We'll be back with more of our halftime show right after this word from Budweiser.
To you by Budweiser, by Pete.
1917, Maryland over Georgia Tech at the half, and at the conclusion of this game, we'll be selecting an outstanding player from each team as the Holly Farms Player of the Game. Holly Farms will contribute $1,000 to the Atlantic Coast Conference to be distributed to the institutions under a conference-approved plan in the names of these 2 players. At the end of the season, each player winning the Player of the Game award will receive a plaque from Holly Farms recognizing this honor. Let's take a look at the Hardee's halftime stats, and these are about the strangest statistics that I have seen all year long, Billy.
Well, they really are, and again, it goes back to the defensive intensity on the part of both of these teams, playing very dissimilar styles, and the fact that Maryland has come out with a very unusual-looking defense and Georgia Tech straight man-to-man. But in both cases, you've got Georgia Tech shooting 29.6% or 30%. On the year, they're shooting 53%. Maryland down there in the low in 41% is a 50% free field goal shooting percentage team. So both way off, but I think the defense has created that.
And Georgia Tech's made up for that really awful shooting because they have dominated the boards on occasion. They've had 4 or 5 shots on the same possession. And there's Len Bias. He has 11 of the 19. Doesn't matter what the score is, he gets his.
Yes, Len Bias has been able to spread that defense out some and go one-on-one and doing a good job. And there, Mark Price, despite the fact that he's the fellow been singled out for the one-man playing man-to-man against him, has 6. Pharrell 5, Joseph 4, and Sally 2. And again, if you're Georgia Tech, you have seen these type of defenses before. And when a defense plays this way, you've got to take what they give you. And what they're giving you are 12-foot jump shots. And you've got to go ahead and shoot some of them to loosen the defense up.
You got to be able to make 12-foot jump shots, too.
Well, 12 to 15-foot shots with the foul line extended is a shot that a college player of this caliber has got to be able to make or he doesn't play. There's the remaining games.
Only 2 games in the conference. They have the smallest conference schedule left.
That's right. Of course, they've got 1 win up on everybody else. Home against St. Louis, and then that intersectional play against Oklahoma.
And the Terps with 3 conference games left. Maryland, of course, with 5 conference losses, 4 other teams with 4, and they really need to win down the stretch, as they did last year.
And Lefty obviously saying at halftime, if the watch ain't broke, don't fix it, because he's playing the same defense.
John Sally's jumper won't go. Farrell got the offensive rebound out of Lewis's hand. They'll bring it back outside. Petway starts the second half instead of Dalrymple. And in fact, looking over at Georgia Tech's bench, I do not see Dalrymple. Unless I'm missing something, but I don't see him at all.
I don't see him either, Mike.
This is Petway. We'll try to get a report on Dalrymple for you.
See, Petway's standing so far away from the basket. He's out of shooting range. No sense standing out there if the defense is going to let you come in close.
Farrell is fouled by Len Bias, who is really hot, and picks up his 3rd personal. And here comes Dalrymple. No tape on the knees. May have retaped an ankle or something under a sock. That is number 3 on Len Bias.
Or maybe just ate some Mexican food. That happens.
I'll just leave that alone.
All right.
Jeff Adkins starting the second half for Maryland. This is Farrell, who has had a tough time at the free throw line. Only 1 out of 4.
I make a little point about Farrell's foul shot. He has a little hitch at the top of the foul shot. It's not a smooth motion. He gets it up, and then he stops. Very difficult to do that. Once you get in your motion, it should be smooth. When you get ready to release it, smooth all the way on through.
Farrell has 6, but that includes only 2 out of 5 from the free throw line. It's 19-18. Maryland by 1. Atkins to Tom. Speedy Jones guarded by Sally. This is Bias. Petway's on him. Just goes straight up and so high.
Petway's going to have a hard time handling that bias. He just doesn't have the natural physical ability to stay with a bias. Not many people do, but Petway is really at a disadvantage.
13 points.
Now here's Petway again. Now see how far he stays away from the basket.
Farrell with a careless pass, and Jones picked it off from Maryland.
Turned out that Dalrymple was dehydrated. Remember in the first half we said he was gasping for air?
That's right. And here's a foul away from the ball, and they're warning them. Is that
That's right? Really a good piece of refereeing here. Guys are starting to push and hold and grab. Hank Nichols, the official, just stops the game and says, look, let's play basketball. Everybody just pushing and holding. No foul committed.
And here comes Dalrymple checking into the ball game. Petway comes out. You'd like to see more of that, wouldn't you?
I think it's a real good move for officials to do that. And then if the players don't respond, then you start sending them home.
Branch into Jones, and now back to Adrian Branch. Branch with only 4 points in the first half. Not too many opportunities. 2 out of 5 for 4. Bias again, a whistle, and they did exactly what you said.
There it is.
After a warning, they call the foul on Joseph.
There's Joseph. He's just going to put his hands on, try to hold, try to push in the inside, and gets called for the foul.
There's only 1 on Joseph. Ford will come in, and Avon will go out.
Bobby Crimmins yanked Ford early in the first half also. All right, Joseph.
It's Maryland by 3 with 18:06 to go in the ballgame.
Georgia Tech zone on the out of bounds, 2-1-2.
Atkins top of the circle. Branch, 16-footer, won't go. Bias had the rebound taken away by Farrell. Price ahead to Dalrymple.
Good inside pass.
Dalrymple to Sally. Let's see if it counts.
Boy, that passing, interior passing was excellent by Georgia Tech. We get blocked out a little bit by the official here, and now Sally gets his spot. Good passing. And they're going to say that foul took place while they were jockeying for position.
So it's a non-shooting foul with second on Lewis, and Tech still down by 3. Dalrymple has gotten so good at that, those little passes that seem to slide through arms and under them sometimes. Bad pass intercepted by Jones, his second steal of the ball game. Good hustling defense by Tom Jones. Looks for Atkins and finds it. Both of these teams are going to sleep well tonight. They have really hustled this ball game.
Bias had good position on Farrell.
Here comes the double team by Price. Bias will go through with a shot anyhow. Won't go. Atkins kept it alive, and Lewis put it in. Lefty wanted to foul on the play also, but right now he's got a 5-point lead.
He's got a 5-point lead because Georgia Tech will just not shoot jump shots.
Dalrymple, once again, a shot wide open from 15 feet, and he won't take it.
Bobby Crimmins going to call the timeout. You see him jump off that bench.
Young man not happy with his ball club. They're down by 5, 23-18. We'll be back in Atlanta for more after this. This is Adrian Branch. 15:34 left in the ballgame. It's 23-18, Maryland by 5 in an extremely intense but low-scoring ballgame. There's a whistle, another foul away from the ball, holding on Dalrymple, trying to catch up with Adrian Branch.
Dalrymple knew it. He tries to play that position defense all the time. He does an excellent job with it, but that time Adrian Branch had him beat to the basket.
I think as much time as Bobby Crimmins spends on one knee, he must buy suits at those places, give you 5 pair of pants with a jacket.
I don't know. Maybe he's got a knee pad under there. Jack Ramsey does that, sits on the top.
Jones left all alone, missed the shot. Sally skies a rebound out to Price. This is Dalrymple. Sally, back to Dalrymple. Across the lane to Farrell. Won't go. Long rebound.
Georgia Tech now shooting down 27% on the game, but they are starting to put some shots up. sooner or later that'll pay off for them because it keeps them active on the boards.
23-18, Maryland by 5. This is Jones low on the blocks, back out to Adkins. Maryland has been exceptionally patient on offense. Bias.
If you don't have a big rebounding team, there's a crossover dribble by Bias. Got away with it.
Branch, a little one-on-one move. Shot down. I don't think that one ever touched his fingertips. It was straight out of the palm of his hand.
Now, Dalrymple was right on him. Biggest lead of the game, isn't it? 7?
And it's 6 for Branch. 7-point margin at 25-18. Farrell to Dalrymple, trying to get Price loose, facing that box-and-one defense. Dalrymple to Joseph, and he's fouled as Jones reached in, and then Long and Joseph and Bias exchange a few words, bumping shoulders.
Now, what Yvonne Joseph, he's hollering at the refs. Did you see that? And call it both ends of the floor.
Terry Long and Joseph talking to each other. I tell you, if I was going to bump into somebody, Joseph's the last guy I'd pick.
You better believe it. Well, of course, Long looks like he can handle himself pretty well in there.
2 fouls on Tom Jones, called for the reach in there. Dalrymple got that one. Dalrymple is a much better perimeter shooter than he was as a freshman. 25-20, Dalrymple's first 2 points. And remember, all 5 Georgia Tech players averaging in double figures. They score an average of 73 points a game. Right now they have 20.
Well, they're playing nose-to-nose defense.
Jones, double team. Price almost got the steal, but not quite. Adkins, shot clock is at 15 seconds. Terry Long, nice pass to Branch or Tobias, but a better defensive play by Farrell, who knocked it away. And then Adkins knocks it away on the other end.
Mark Price trying to get the big one all the time. They're going for the knockout punch. Wasn't a good decision to throw that one cross court. That last sequence down the court, though, was the best man-to-man defense I've seen by a team this year. Georgia Tech really sticking it.
Everybody is working real hard. 13-10 to go. 25-20. Maryland by 5 over Georgia Tech. Tom Jones, backdoor pass to Adkins. Got it to Long. Finally recovered it. Bias wide open. They won't toss him the ball. Now they get it to him on a tough bounce pass. And he hit it. Oh, what a shot. Len Bias has 15 points, Billy, of the 27.
15 points and only taken 11 shots. And still, that defense for lefties been carrying out the whole game.
And Adrian Branch reached in, went for the steal on Farrell, commits the personal. That's only 1 on Adrian Branch. 1 player in foul trouble for Maryland. That's Bias, who has 3.
Well, I think that Coach Driesell, he'd ask for a little water there. I think Coach Driesell has to be very, very happy with the effort his team's given out there tonight. Because I know how disappointed he was on Sunday.
Against Clemson.
Yep, he locked that door and left that gym and talked to no one.
Farrell, they're just backing in on Joseph, trying to shut him off. Dalrymple, 15-footer. Just what I said.
The shot that's there all night long, but you've got to take some.
Dalrymple's hit a couple of those. It's 27-22, the margin back to 5 with 12:10 left. Gatlin has not played in the second half for Maryland after a brilliant performance on Sunday. But this combination right now is working for Lefty Driesell. Dalrymple went for the steal, couldn't quite save it.
And you would think Gatlin would come in here shortly just to give Adkins a little rest and to keep that fresh man on Price the whole time.
And we've got a timeout as you look at Bobby Crimmins with exactly 12 minutes left in the ball game from Atlanta. It's Maryland 27, Georgia Tech 22. Maryland 27-22. That is 12 minutes left in the game, not the first half, in case you joined us late.
Yeah, Mike, I think that this has been an excellent basketball game for the basketball sicko.
That's right.
You know, the guy that isn't concerned about points. He's concerned about the intensity of the game and the execution. You can see the field goal shooting percentage about 20% below what Georgia Tech normally shoots, actually 24% below, and about 10 below what Maryland normally shoots.
And in the second half, Tech has hit 2 of 6. Maryland has hit 4 of 8 here in the second half. Up by 5. Adkins really being dogged by Price. Gets it to Lewis. Sally Sally is on him. Back to Adkins.
Adkins asking that ref for a little relief. You've got Price almost in his jersey.
Price runs through a screen set by Bias. Shot clock is at 2. Branch has the ball 35 feet away, and he won't get the shot off. The shot clock runs out.
As I said in the first half, if you're going to try to delay the game somewhat, there's Price right in Atkins' T-shirt the whole night long. But you can't let the clock get down under 16 seconds and not start getting ready to work for your shot. And that time, Georgia Tech just forgot all about what they were doing.
It's a 7th turnover from Maryland, and Tech has a chance to cut the lead to 3 with a bucket here. Branch gambling on the steal. Dalrymple's hit 2 straight, misses this one, almost tipped in. Now Joseph with a rebound, and he walked.
He did walk, but again,
got some help.
That's right. Again, you see a situation. You take the jump shot, and then you rebound it. It's almost like a play. You know, you don't try to make this game so difficult. You've got superior rebounding, so you take shots, put them up on the boards, and try to go get them.
Tremendous intensity with 11 minutes to go. It's Maryland 27, Georgia Tech 22. Lewis left wide open, and he buried a jumper. Lewis does not shoot that often. He averages less than 6 points a game. It's a big bucket for him to make.
But he'll make that shot right at the foul line, looking straight ahead.
4 points for Lewis tonight. And it's 29-22. Maryland by 7 again. Price has not had much luck getting some shots. Dalrymple back to Price. He's open this time.
Atkins really mad at himself. He went in to try to help out on Dalrymple. When he did, Price was open, and Atkins really upset with himself.
If you're guarding Mark Price, you don't worry about helping anybody else, right?
Well, that's just an instinctive move by Atkins.
29-24. Branch ball for a 5-second count.
Here you have Dalrymple on Branch. He's staying with him in a closely guarded situation. For 5 seconds, Branch can't get rid of the ball. And there's your jump.
Alternate possession rule does not come in there because that was a turnover forced by the defense. Dalrymple tried to go all the way under. Bias tried to draw the foul. Joseph hustling after the loose ball, and Price gets it. Sally. Triple team. What a great move by John Sally.
Went back baseline on that play. Mike, you're exactly right. He was triple team, but no help on the baseline side.
29-26. Crowd getting back in it. Adkins all the way down the lane. Blocked by Sally. Joseph with a loose ball. Hard to believe this could get more intense.
Super crowd. They're all on their feet.
Price directing traffic.
People said if you have a postseason tournament, regular season games won't mean anything, right?
Dalrymple. That was the miss by Joseph. The tip in by Sally, fouled by Jones, and the basket counts.
That timeout that Bobby Crimmins called about 3-4 minutes ago, where he instructed his team to start putting up some shots, has been the turning point in this game. You see, when Georgia Tech puts up the jump shot, it allows their team to do what they do so well, and the big advantage over Maryland, and that's the rebound on the offensive end.
Georgia Tech has pulled within a point with 9:13 to go, and they'll have a chance to tie it at the free throw line when we come back. 9:13 left. Let's take a pause for this word from Budweiser. Only the 4th point of the night for John Sally, but a big, big shot. And Georgia Tech now with a chance to tie it for the first time since it was tied at 15 with about 5.5 minutes to go in the first half of play.
John Sally with the big play inside. Again, offensive rebounding. Georgia Tech's dominant area when they go up against Maryland.
Sally ties it with a free throw. The 3-point play makes it 29-29, and here's full court pressure. Adkins has to pick up his dribble. Got it to Bias. Joseph almost pulled it away. Watch out for Bias. Price has got the loose ball. Len Bias tried to do too much. Ahead to Sally. Partially blocked. He won't get the basket. Bodies going down all over the place. And it was Lewis and Dalrymple going to the floor.
There's the full court pressure. Up court, Mark Price just all over the floor. Gets the double team. Atkins has to fire at the Bias. Now watch who comes down to help out on Bias. Mark Price, here he is again.
End to end.
Boy, for young players watching this game tonight, here's Mark Price, normally a leading scorer type. He's not getting the shots tonight because of the defense playing and his teammates are open. Instead, what's he do? He gives it everything he's got on the defensive end of the court. That's the mark of a true champion.
Dalrymple getting some attention, and one of the officials goes over to talk to Bobby Crimmins.
Now, he has to come out of the ball game right now, or else Bobby's got to take a timeout, and he is going to come out.
Petway will come in. Now remember, we were told that Dalrymple suffered exhaustion, dehydration in the first half, and if anything, it's 15 degrees hotter in here right now.
It's not as hot as it was up in Maryland when Lefty had it for North Carolina the other day.
I'll tell you, you could bake bread in there. Stay tuned at the end of the game. We'll be picking a Holly Farms player for the game from each school. Already have a couple of likely choices out there. John Sally goes to the line, and the free throw. Georgia Tech, for the first time in a long time, has the lead at 30-29.
2 in a row for Sally, just a 58% free throw shooter.
And this one, the interesting thing about him, Billy, is that he has hit several free throws lately. He seems to have changed his style and done a very good job.
Bias wide open. Nobody can get the ball to it.
Branch almost turned it over. Gets the Bias in the corner.
Now, Maryland be smart to pull it back out again and just get back into their tempo of the game. Georgia Tech is taking the tempo away from them.
Len Bias with 15 of Maryland's 29 points.
Bias wins that ball.
Adkins gets it to Bias. Trying to fake Joseph. Now goes up straight over him. Shot is short. Rebound Petway.
Manny Bias a little bit too anxious for his shot.
Maryland has gone stone cold to the delight of a sellout crowd here in Georgia Tech.
I think the next possession, Maryland be wise to get a timeout. Like to just slow things back down and get back into their game.
Look at how far they drop off of Petway when he has the ball. They get back inside to 10 feet.
Well, Petway's 30 feet from the basket. He only has to be 15. He's so far away, he doesn't have his jump shot. Doesn't even look for the shot. The key for Georgia Tech's put the ball up on the offensive board.
Shot clock is at 8. Avon Joseph in the lane. Banks it home. That's 6 for Joseph, and it's 33-29. They've exploded, Billy.
Maryland needs a timeout bad right here. Doesn't look like they're going to take them.
This is Lewis with a perimeter jumper. Won't go. Farrell had the ball ripped away by Sally. Next dead ball situation is the television timeout.
Well, when you get a run like this against your ball club, you can't wait for TV timeouts. Georgia Tech obviously is finding the openings and the holes. They're keeping the pressure on defensively.
Tech is up by 4. Sally banked it in, and they're hot, too.
Yeah, they just got a run going here.
35-29 the margin. 6 with 6:50 to go, and Lefty Driesell will stop it now. A timeout as Georgia Tech has come roaring from behind to take a 6-point lead over Maryland. We'll be back in Atlanta in a moment. Now the ACC Sports Center with Paul Cameron. Check your local listings for that. And following the ACC Sports Center, Clemson at North Carolina. That's a 3:30 start. That's the second game of the doubleheader. Is the last game at Carmichael. It's going to be a couple of standing ovations, maybe a couple of tears or two over there. Then Georgia Tech at Duke is the game that leads it off. Boy, that should be in almost the same thing as this one tonight.
There'll be no tears from opposing coaches.
Oh, no. No, they won't cry. Tears of joy, possibly.
Gatlin back into the ball game. He was out of bounds. He caught the ball.
Adrian Branch with that cross-court pass led him a little far.
Yeah, not a wise pass by Adrian Branch. Excellent call by the official. Look at him right on top of the play.
35-29. It's been all Georgia Tech in the last 5 minutes. Sally, Price around the screen. ACC basketball on the Raycom Sports Jefferson Pilot Teleproduction Network has been brought to you in part by Mazda. Dalrymple, that short jumper won't go. Petway
ball up in the air.
Price wanted the ball, got around the screen. Dalrymple didn't quite see him in time. Shot clock is at 20 seconds. Georgia Tech with a lot of time left and 5:50 on the game clock. Joseph making it 15.
He's looking for it.
Cross court to Petway. Checks the shot clock, which is now at 9, and Petway will shoot. He's a good shooter, man.
He is a good shooter, and the shot's there. As I said at the start of this game, when a team plays a funny defense like that, you got to take advantage of what they give you.
First 2 points for Petway, and it's Georgia Tech by 8. Their biggest lead, 37-29. Bias on the nice pass from Gatlin.
I think if you're Maryland, you got to think about getting out of that defense now because you got to get back into this ball game.
17 for Bias, 17 of the 31, and it's 37-31 Georgia Tech.
Tough to beat any team 3 times in one season, particularly a team as talented and as aggressive as Maryland has played tonight.
Joseph is fouled by Long, and Joseph says something to Terry Long after the whistle blows. They've been talking to each other for a while.
They have, but it's been clean, hard, aggressive play. You know, you don't like to see a lot of mouth in basketball, but these guys have really been working hard all night long. Joseph was just happy to get one off.
Surprised as intense as it's been, they have enough energy left to talk. 37-31, Joseph at the line out of Cap Haitian Haiti. 70% free throw shooter. Got that one. And see, Bobby Crimmins liked it. Joseph with 7 points on the night, and the lead is back to 7 for Georgia Tech. 5 minutes exactly to go.
Nice job by Joseph. He just relaxed, got his composure, and Georgia Tech keeps up this pressure.
Jones in the backcourt to Gatlin. And you made a great point on Sunday. When Gatlin gets the ball, the press seems to just dissolve.
Well, he didn't play much here in the second half.
Tipped out of bounds, out to Maryland.
Atkins has been in almost the whole second half. And Gatlin, of course, coming off that 14 out of 15 game up at Clemson, was the only guy really, he and Bias, the only 2 guys that really gave him the effort.
Had a career-high 28 in that one. This is Branch at the baseline, all the way underneath. Got it off to Bias, who almost missed the layup.
I think Len Bias was surprised he got the ball.
Yeah, I do too. 19 points for Bias at 39-33. The margin a half dozen with 4.5 minutes to go. Sally way outside. Branch on him. Price got around the screen. Dalrymple penetrates. Jumps so well.
He's been the man.
41-33. That's only 6 points for Dalrymple.
And Adrian Branch knows he's with him. There's Dalrymple's every place he goes.
Gatlin with that little half jump and half set shot.
Bad pass by Sally. Good steal.
Jones clobbered as he went to the bucket. Boy, he got hammered. Petway and Avon Joseph waiting there for him.
John Sally really upset with himself throwing that ball in bounds. He just kind of lost some concentration, threw it right into the Maryland players. You can see that he really just lost it. Maybe he went colorblind in that play, but good pass by Bias. Jones tries to take it to the basket.
Oh.
Everybody going for it.
Well, give Sally the personal his third. And Tom Jones goes to the free throw line. Almost 80% from there this year.
Got a good
hit a big one there.
He has an excellent release, whether it be on the jump shot or the foul shot.
5 points for Tom Jones. Been equally effective starting and coming off the bench for Maryland this year. Margin cut to 5 and now to 4 with 4:01 left. And Jeff Baxter will come into the ballgame for Maryland. Gatlin will go out. This is for pressure.
Pressure defense, and let's see if Lefty's not only going to change the full court and go in full court, but also getting in a situation when he gets down in the half court that he's out of that box in one tight zone.
This is Farrell back in. Petway comes out for Bobby Kremer. Sally trying to get it inbounds. Does the Price. He's double teamed. To Sally. Now Dalrymple beats the 10-second count.
Maryland's going to stay right back in that zone.
And Baxter is the fresh body on Price.
Now Farrell should have learned something sitting over that bench of where that opening is. Not be afraid to take it in there and look for that shot.
Farrell looking for Price. Can't find him outside. Shot clock is at 10 seconds. do something with it. Lost control. It's at 5. Tries to penetrate. Baxter with a steal. Price is the only man back, and he can't catch him. And Jeff Baxter with a great steal. Shows you all that speed. Cuts it to 2.
Again, there's a case where Georgia Tech looking for something that's not there.
Baxter has always been regarded as an excellent ball handler, and boy, is he fast. Right now, he's on Price.
Good move by Lefty Driesell to go ahead and use that full court pressure, try to come up with a big steal. But when he drops back now in that zone, he may have to come out and get him a little.
2:51 left in this one. Timeout with Georgia Tech, 41, Maryland, 39. We'll be back after this from Budweiser.
This buzz for everyone in the spotlight before the show begins. Hey, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This Bud's sweet.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. Little one-on-one?
I can't, Jimmy. Your father wants to talk about a pension plan for his company.
What's the matter? You over the hill?
What sets the Jefferson Standard agent apart from other insurance agents is not just that he sells a wide range of innovative business insurance, or that he's specially trained to give comprehensive insurance advice. It's that little extra he gives to his clients. Jefferson Standard. We give a little extra.
You come here to talk insurance or play basketball?
Both.
It's Georgia Tech by 2, 41-39 with 2:51 left. Had a couple of streaks here. One Georgia Tech pulled away. Maryland has come back to within a bucket now.
They really have, Mike. And what you have to remember now, with the 45-second shot clock on for the whole ball game, the delay game becomes a very difficult thing to pull off. A lot of coaches want to use that full 45 seconds, but when you do, then you get out of your offensive flow. A very difficult thing to do, to say to your players, we want to use up this clock, but then get a good shot at the end, and sometimes they just don't do it.
Got to look at Lefty Driesell. There you see the rebounding, 11-4 in the second half. Georgia Tech has just dominated the boards. .245 left in the game. Price being guarded by Jeff Baxter. The junior has come in to play some defense and made a big steal and a layup at the other end.
Trying to get a screen for Price. Petway is the guy that may end up with the shot here because Maryland's not going to play him.
Price got around the screen and buried it. What a rainbow.
Great shot by Mark Price. You talk about a gut play.
That is 10 for Price. And it's 43-39, the margin for Branch.
He has the winning points in 4 games for Georgia Tech this year.
Bias too strong on a jumper. Baxter with a big rebound as Terry Long kept it alive. Game clock at 2 minutes. Maryland down by 4. Baxter will run the offense. 3 very capable point guards on this ball club.
Good double team by Price.
Baxter left alone. Shot clock is no factor right now. It's at 22. Maryland needs a good shot. I don't know if that's it. Yeah, it is a good shot. Len Bias, 21 points of Maryland's 41. I'd have to say if you call anybody unstoppable, it's got to be Len Bias.
Now, those are all American type plays. Price hit that jumper. Bias coming right back at top.
Bias 9 out of 16. It's 43-41, the margin 2. A giant possession here. Maryland will get the ball back because of the shot clock at least one more time. Shot is no good, but the foul is on Adrian Branch, who came back to try to double team.
Branch did have a little bit of the ball here, but Joseph is just so strong on the inside. Good catch by Joseph. He goes up. Branch comes down. He did have the ball, but he also got a piece of that arm. And that's a case where if the fella is not strong enough, the ball gets knocked out of his hands. But Devon Joseph is very, very strong.
1:16 left to go in the game. Big free throws here for Von Joseph, who was only 1 out of 3 tonight from the line. Normally a good free throw shooter, 70.8%. These are big ones.
I really like the way
so too. I was just looking
I think
at,
that makes him 3 out of 4. Might be wrong.
I think you're right, because you commented on his style and how he shot 2 very well. Regardless, of 44-41 short on this. Rebound to Jones. 1:15 left.
Maryland should still be patient here. Not try to fire up a bad shot.
Baxter Tobias, double team. Back out to Baxter.
Mark Trice running all over the court. He's not guarding Baxter. Baxter will be open.
Jones with a tough shot, won't go. Branch with a rebound, and he's fouled by Yvonne Joseph with 53 seconds left. That is a big play, except the fact that Georgia Tech only had 5 team fouls before that.
That's right. Jones takes the good-looking jumper. Georgia Tech has the ball. Dalrymple always around the ball somewhere, and there was the foul. They actually can use one more foul.
The scoreboard says that was only their 15th foul. I thought they had 5 before that. Branch to Baxter. Maryland needs to get off a shot in a hurry. There's only 40 seconds left. They're down by 3. And it's Adrian Branch. Whoa, nice. Tough shot. Clock continues to run. Georgia Tech taking its time on an out-of-bounds.
Now, Maryland, I don't know if they realize it, but, this game can be over. They got to come out of the zone.
There's 24 seconds left to go in the game. And now Adrian Branch hustles out after Dalrymple. We're down to 16 seconds.
Well, they've got to understand that this game is over if they don't foul.
And he does, and fouls Dalrymple. Well, you're right. It took a little while for the light in the refrigerator to come on.
I was surprised Georgia Tech took the ball down in there. They've been smart to just bring it over half court and stand. Maryland was back in that zone. Right now would be a good time to take that time out and get reorganized.
Adrian Branch.
Well, have they?
No. Branch picks up his 3rd personal.
Well, you got to call a timeout here to get your team organized as to what defense and what offense they're going to play the remainder of this game.
Talking it over on the Maryland sideline, Bobby Crimmins talking to Yvonne Joseph. And Dalrymple will go to the free throw line. He has not shot tonight. 70% shooter on the year, and hit the post. Now this is the really big one. That puts it at the even number.
But now you want a timeout for a line. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You want to go ahead and try to freeze up the shooter. Plus, to get your ball club to understand the circumstances that they're playing on. 12 seconds ago, you're down 2. If you're down 3, you got one thing. If you're down 2, you got something else. Who are you going to foul? There's a million things to talk about at this point.
12 seconds left to go in this ballgame. 45-43. The executive producer of ACC basketball is John Shreves. Our coordinating producer is Quay Sistar. Mike Berg produced tonight's game, and Jim Dussel directed it. Our technical director, Ken Dennis, and the associate director, Ann Keith. And we want to thank everyone else who was associated with tonight's game from Atlanta, Georgia, and our statistician, Kevin Barnes, who kept us up to date all night. Mark Packer, our floor manager, for hustling us back and forth from one spot to another. Get a few miles on you in this, Jim.
Well, I think we have seen a game that's played under 50 points by both teams that has really been a joy to me. This was great basketball in terms of the intensity, the way the teams went after each other, and regardless of how it comes out, no matter who you're rooting for, you got to be proud of the effort the teams put on.
Well, they certainly got their money's worth tonight here in Alexander Memorial Coliseum, and that man has got to be wondering about that 500th victory. We have said very little about it tonight.
I would say this, Mike. He no more is thinking about 500 wins right now.
Oh, I don't mean not right now.
Matter of fact, I don't think Lefty even thinks about it all until somebody brings it up.
That's right. All the reporters have been beating on him for a couple of weeks now.
And I read that article, Tony Kornheiser?
Yes.
From up in Washington, talking about if Lefty doesn't get this, he would have his 500th against Towson State, which would be a negative. I don't think it's a negative. 500 wins hard for any man again.
Dalrymple makes it a 3-point game. Baxter fouled by Mark Price, and he did that because they had a foul left to give. They're not in the bonus yet.
That's right.
And it took 3 seconds off the game clock.
Mark might have been, and of course you're trying to be a little cuter, he might have gone and let it get him even farther down, and pick up another couple of seconds. He doesn't want to foul here.
10 seconds left in the game. Baxter trying to penetrate off to Jones. Jones jumper won't go. Out to Petway. Baxter reaches in and fouls him with 2 seconds left.
should have got rid of the ball. The last thing you want to do is get fouled.
And Georgia Tech has pulled one out. And it's time for Lefty to put the jacket on because he'll only have to endure the heat. Another couple of seconds. Petway will go to the free throw line for the first time. He's a 62% shooter. And the pressure is off for the Yellow Jackets. 47-43 is the lead now. This will be the 19th victory for Georgia Tech. Second free throw is good. 2 seconds to go in the ball game, and it's 48-43. Georgia Tech by 5. And once again, Maryland has been denied its 20th win of the season, and Lefty Driesell denied his 500th career coaching victory. Lon Joseph with the interception goes to midcourt and throws it toward the rafters. Players shaking hands after the ball game, and Bobby Crimmins congratulating Leonard Bias, who had 21 of Maryland's 43 points. The final 48-43. So Maryland's record drops to 19-10. Georgia Tech goes to 19-5. And that means Georgia Tech has done what only 3 other teams have ever done in Georgia Tech history. They've won more than 8.